stop what you are doing and look at your calendar. Because that vacation you've been planning just hit a massive, expensive roadblock. The world is watching the Middle East right now, but while the headlines talk about missiles and drones, your wallet is about to feel the real explosion. A crisis in the heart of the global energy supply is sending shockwaves straight to the airport tarmac. And if you haven't booked your flight yet, you might be staring at a price tag that looks more like a mortgage payment. We are witnessing a historic squeeze on jet fuel that is about to turn the travel industry upside down. Before we break down exactly how much this is going to cost you and why the sky is literally becoming the limit for airfares, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. In a world moving this fast, you cannot afford to miss the updates that affect your money and your freedom to travel. This channel is your eyes and ears on the ground, so join our community now to stay ahead of the curve. Now, let's get into the heart of this crunch. For weeks, the tension between Iran and the West has been simmering, but a fresh spark has ignited a fire in the fuel markets. The focus of the entire world is now narrowed down to a tiny, jagged stretch of water called the Strait of Hormuz. It is only 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, but don't let the size fool you. This is the ultimate choke point. Think of it like a narrow hallway that the entire world has to walk through to get its energy. Right now, that hallway is getting very crowded and very dangerous. Every single day, 20 million barrels of oil and a massive chunk of the world's natural gas flow through that gap. When a conflict starts here, the price of oil doesn't just go up, it leaps. And for the airlines that keep the world moving, that oil is the lifeblood that has suddenly become liquid gold. We are looking at a situation where the cost to put a plane in the air is skyrocketing in real time, and that cost is headed straight for your boarding pass. Stay with us as we reveal the shocking numbers coming out of the fuel hubs. The numbers coming in right now are staggering, and they tell a story of a world caught off guard. To understand why your next flight might cost double, you have to look at the specialized nature of what keeps those massive engines humming. Most people think fuel is just fuel, but jet fuel is a different beast entirely. It's not like the gas you put in your car at the corner station. You can't just find it anywhere, and you cannot store it easily. It requires specific high-tech tanks and a very delicate supply chain. Because of this, when things go wrong in the Middle East, the aviation world feels the pain first, and it feels it the hardest. In just the last few days, we have seen the U.S. jet fuel index take a massive vertical climb. We were looking at prices hanging around $2 a gallon for a long time, a comfortable baseline that kept travel affordable for the average family. But as the smoke rises over the conflict zones, that price has blasted off to nearly $4 a gallon. That is a doubling of the cost in a heartbeat. If you think the airlines are going to eat that cost, you haven't been paying attention to how the world works. They operate on thin margins, and a spike like this is like an anchor tied to their wings. Over in Singapore, which is basically the beating heart of fuel trading for the entire Asian continent, the price surged by over 70% in a single week. We are talking about record-breaking highs that have never been seen in the history of these markets. This isn't just a minor fluctuation or a temporary glitch in the system. This is a fundamental shift in the cost of moving from point A to point B. Every time a drone is launched or a ship is diverted in the Middle East, a calculator somewhere in a corporate airline office is adding another $50 or $100 to the price of a seat. The security of the supply is gone, replaced by a desperate scramble to lock in whatever fuel is left. Those who have it are charging a king's ransom, and those who need it have no choice but to pay. As we continue, we are going to look at why even a peaceful tomorrow won't bring these prices down anytime soon. Stay tuned. because the deeper we go, the more you will understand why the travel map is being redrawn right before our eyes. The global energy map is being redrawn by fire and friction, and the ripples are hitting the departure gates of every major city on Earth. To truly grasp why this is happening, you have to realize that the Middle East provides nearly 20% of the world's aviation fuel. This isn't just about crude oil sitting in the ground. It is about the refined, finished product that makes flight possible. When the strikes hit and the retaliations began, the primary export routes became a gamble that many shipping companies are no longer willing to take. When a tanker has to turn around or take the long way across the globe, the clock is ticking and the money is burning. This creates what the experts call a supply crunch. There is simply not enough of the right fuel in the right places at the right time. Cities like Frankfurt and Singapore, which serve as the massive crossroads for international travel, are feeling the squeeze the most because they consume more fuel than almost anywhere else. They are far away from the producers and rely on a steady, unbroken chain of ships to keep the planes fueled and the passengers moving. That chain is now being pulled to its breaking point. Traders are watching the horizon with white knuckles because they know that jet fuel inventories are much thinner than gasoline. There is no massive safety net. There is no giant backup pile of jet fuel waiting in the wings to save the day. It is a just-in-time industry, and right now, time is running out. This is why the panic is setting in at the trading desks, and why the prices are hitting levels that make the history books look tame. It is a domino effect where a single spark in a distant desert leads to a closed ticket counter in a local terminal. But the most alarming part isn't just the price you see today, it is the hidden reality of how airlines buy their fuel. They don't just pull up to a pump, they sign massive, long-term deals. And as those old cheap deals expire, they are being forced to sign new ones at these nightmare prices. This means the pain is going to be baked into the system for a long, long time. We are about to look at what this means for your summer plans and why the wait-and-see approach might be the most expensive mistake you can make. Keep watching, because the next part of this story reveals the hidden fees that are about to land in your inbox. The pressure is mounting, and the reality is that the aviation industry is now operating in a state of high alert. You might be wondering why you haven't seen your specific flight price double this morning, but don't let that calm fool you. Airlines are masters of disguise when it comes to passing on costs. What starts as a spike in the price of a barrel of fuel quickly transforms into a fuel surcharge or a seasonal adjustment fee that gets tacked onto your bill at the very last second of checkout. They use complex computer programs to hedge their bets, buying fuel months in advance to keep prices steady. But those reserves are like a battery that is slowly draining. As this conflict in the Middle East stretches on, those cheap reserves are running dry. When the airlines have to go back out into the market to buy more, they are going to find a world that has become much more expensive and much less friendly. This is why analysts are warning that the window for affordable travel is slamming shut. We are moving into a period where the cost of a vacation might be decided by the path of a missile or the movement of a naval fleet. It's a direct link from the geopolitical battlefield to your family's summer plans. And it isn't just about the long-haul flights across the ocean. Even short, domestic hops are feeling the heat because the global market for fuel is interconnected. If fuel is expensive in Singapore, it creates a vacuum that pulls prices up in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Every airport is fighting for the same limited supply. This is a massive wake-up call for anyone who takes for granted the ability to hop on a plane and see the world. The era of cheap, Easy Flights is facing its biggest challenge in decades. But there is a deeper layer to this story that most people are missing. It isn't just about the cost of the fuel itself. It is about the fear of the unknown. Markets hate uncertainty, and right now uncertainty is the only thing in high supply. As we move into the final part of this breakdown, we are going to look at what the future holds and the one thing that could either save your travel budget or break it for good. Stick with us until the very end, because knowing what comes next is the only way to protect your wallet in this soaring crisis. The big question remains, where does this road lead? We are looking at a world that is holding its breath. If the conflict in the Middle East continues to boil over, the travel landscape we once knew will be gone. We are talking about more than just expensive tickets. We are talking about a total shift in how we see the world. When it becomes too pricey to fly, the world gets a little bit bigger and a lot harder to reach. But here's the thing you need to know. Even if a peace deal is signed tomorrow morning, the prices won't drop by the afternoon. The damage to the supply chain is already done. The specialized tanks are low, the shipping schedules are a mess, and the trust in a steady supply has been broken. It takes a long time for the industry to build that back up, and until they do, the consumer is the one who bears the burden. This is a moment in history where being informed is your only real protection. You have to be strategic. You have to watch the news not just for the politics, but for the pocketbook. People who understand the link between a distant shoreline and their own local airport are the ones who will manage to navigate this crisis without going broke. We are here to make sure you are one of those people. This isn't just a news story. It is a guide for your survival in a changing global economy. The sky isn't falling, but the cost of reaching it certainly is rising. Make sure you stay locked into this channel as we track every movement of the ships, every shift in the markets, and every new development in this high-stakes fuel crunch. We will be here to tell you when it's time to book and when it's time to wait. Knowledge is power, and in this world, it is also the only way to keep your dreams of travel alive. Don't let the headlines catch you off guard. We've got the full picture, and we're glad you're here to see it with us. Until the next update, keep your eyes on the horizon and your ear to the ground. This is the story of a world in motion, and it's only just beginning.